Hi everyone, this is Ahmed Karimli and welcome to Be Efficient TV. The mission of this web TV show is to boost the efficiency of your business and life through tips and tricks from leading experts. And today I have with me Sid Raj. He is a social media strategist and the co-founder of Sion Social. Welcome to the show, Raj.
How are you doing? Great being here.
Thank you. What's your background and how did you start in the online world?
Okay, so it's like Alice in Wonderland, I never thought I would be in this space. I'm actually a musician turned social media geek. I did my sound engineering back in the year 2001. I actually failed my 12th grade. And while I failed my 12th, I was thinking of what I can do in my life. And that was the point I realized that the only thing that I really liked was music. I've been playing keyboard since the age of 10. So I went on to do a course in sound engineering back in the year 2001. And stumbled into the whole world of music. I did my sound engineering in Chennai, did my audio engineering, and I started working from the age of 19. Was teaching people how to make music using software, how to record using mixers, and these different tools out there. And later on, I actually came to Dubai. I was in Dubai working in Internet City for a good 2 years, making ringtones for many mobile operators and also music for games back then. So it's a pretty interesting journey, like I was mentioning. So after that phase, I came back to India. I started managing the app store for a few major telecom operators here, more from a content perspective. And I took a whole year sabbatical because I got married to a singer. My wife is a singer. She was an Indian Idol finalist from Dubai. My wife actually studied in Sharjah. And after marriage, we sat at home. You can see my speakers back here. We sat at home and completely produced an album and launched it in the year 2009 independently, without tying up with any record company and so on. We had close to 800 people download that album at $10. And that was my first taste of internet marketing success. And that's when I realized, there's something in the internet. I need to get more into this. I took a whole year's sabbatical. Learned a lot about these marketing techniques, and the year 2011 I formed Sion Social along with my partner Meena. So in a nutshell, I never thought I would be in this space. It's like Alice in Wonderland. And
how did you transition from employee to entrepreneur?
It's quite an interesting question because while I was in the employee mode, I was working predominantly in smaller companies, like companies were more like startups with 5 employees, 10 employees. As I started growing up the corporate ladder, we actually grew to a 50-member company, and that's when I realized, I needed to do something on my own. The book Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki is what turned the switch on, inside my head. I actually read this book while I was doing my sound engineering, and that's when I realized that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. My dad is an entrepreneur. My grandfather has been an entrepreneur. So it's there in our blood, and I wanted to do something. So after working for a good 8 years, it was that phase in between where I got it was like monotonous working in a job. I decided, let me just take a break for a year, and that's when my music started doing well online. That was the actual turning point. I just had some backup for a few months in terms of funds and revenue. And I thought, let me take the risk. It was definitely a leap of faith. Many of the family members were questioning me about this, but I thought, let me just do it. And everything changed from there.
Now you are focused more on social media. Is it that started from the beginning on social media, or you started studying all affiliate marketing or like in online marketing in general, and then you decided to focus on social media?
Yeah, it started with affiliate marketing. I had a stint in network marketing, also going out and selling actual products, and getting rejected and all that kind of stuff. So then I started to move more into how can I position myself online so that people can come to me and buy stuff. So that's when I got into blogging. Had a few other mentors in the online space. I started learning from them. So affiliate marketing did help me a lot in terms of learning from the best out there. And then I realized social media was an evolving space, and so I thought, let me take that as my niche, and that's when we started. Because my partner Meena was running a web development company before this, and I was telling her the future is all about social media, so let's shift gears, and then we formed this as a company. So it was more like affiliate marketing paving the road into social media.
Affiliate marketing is focused on which kind of products?
I was focusing on promoting mostly digital products like tools, softwares, hosting, email marketing, and also courses. ClickBank products, JVZoo products. Back then, JVZoo wasn't there, but I tried my hand at different types of products. Again, in the make money online niche. That's been the niche that I've been on.
Now businesses, from where they should start in terms of running effective social media marketing campaigns?
Okay, if businesses have to really get it right on social media, first is they need to measure their revenue sources. Okay, whenever I do social media workshops, I ask businesses, do you know from where you're getting your business? And most of them don't have a clue. So that's the first foundational point, because if a business knows that they're getting, say, 10%, 20% of their business through social media, then they'll be able to set better goals, in the next financial year, and so on. So the first point is measurement of the revenue sources. Second point is they should know who their customer is. So I have an exercise called creating a customer avatar, which I learned from Eben Pagan. He's one of the top, affiliate marketers out there and product creators. So the second point is knowing who your ideal customer is. The third thing I would say is it has to be a good combination. Businesses need to understand having the right combination of creating the right content, understanding how to build a community, as well as paid social media. Running ads on Facebook, running ads on Twitter, and so on. So that's what I would say. Measure your top sources and know who your prospect is, and look at this as a cohesive strategy.
In terms of measuring the results, like you just use Facebook, let's say, analytics to measure that, or use some other softwares? And
it's a combination. So Facebook analytics is great for measuring things like engagement, reach, paid versus organic. And also PPC, if you're going to be running pay-per-click ads on Facebook and driving more traffic to your website, it's good to track those numbers. But we also use Google Analytics to see if there's other things that we can measure. And there are a couple of other resources, like especially there's a website called similarweb.com, where we can actually go and even look at other competitors, find out where they're getting their traffic from. So there are many tools that we use, but I would say a combination of Facebook and Google Analytics can give a lot of data. But we also have other things that we can track, like clicks, conversions. There are many simple tools like Bitly and others that you can use. But yeah, it depends on the strategy.
As a strategy, how do you compare between Google Ads, Facebook Ads, Google AdWords, LinkedIn ads, and YouTube ads? For which one you should use for which customer, and how you should identify that? Do you decide based on conversion? Do you decide based on cost?
Yeah, it's a very good question, because each platform is slightly different from the other. For example, Google is great for anything that is search intended, search-based keywords, like those who want to buy something, those are looking for information. For example, they want to buy a home in Dubai, for example, or if somebody's looking for rental apartments or villas in Dubai. So that intent you need to look at first. So Google Ads works well for those kind of industries. Facebook, on the other hand, is slightly different. Facebook, you can target people by interests. You can target people by custom audiences. So, if you know someone who likes, Marvel comics, for example, you can run only maybe Marvel gaming products only at that particular person based on the interest. So it's a different type of strategy for Facebook. And when it comes to YouTube, as you know, it's all about capturing people's attention in those 3 or 4 seconds if you're going to be doing YouTube ads and even having those videos. So it's how you can storyfy your business in a more effective way to grab their attention. So like I said, it depends on the industry. It varies from industry to industry. But what I would look for at the end of the day is how much am I spending and what's my cost per customer acquisition. If it's really on the higher side, then I may not spend much marketing dollars on that. As of now, if you look at it, even if you compare between Facebook, Google, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook is the most cost-effective platform for advertising at this point.
How about LinkedIn and Twitter in terms of ads? How do you what do you think about them?
It's still expensive. Now that LinkedIn is acquired by Microsoft, I hope they are going to do some good things on the ad side. But I'm just waiting to see what happens there. But LinkedIn is very expensive. It's like $2 a click versus a Facebook, 10 cents, 20 cents a click. So unless you really know what you're doing, I wouldn't want to burn my money on LinkedIn ads. So yeah, that's what I would recommend. Twitter is also growing. It's great for influencers. It's great for promoting tweets, promoting hashtags, promoting trends, and so on. So it works well. So
why people like I see like I notice on Twitter people more like interested in hashtags and they can find you even on Instagram. Is it based on how those social media platforms work? And
Exactly.
on Facebook is more you have to pull the customers or like if you have a video that goes viral, but like on Twitter or Instagram, people find you like in an easier way than Facebook.
Sure.
Why is
That's
that?
absolutely true because I would group Twitter and Instagram on the same concept at a conceptual level because these two platforms are where the brand can go and engage in a conversation. Okay, so if these hashtags only it helps you get an idea of what people are talking about around the particular topic. So you can actually the brand can go and engage in a conversation versus in Facebook the brand can actually pull people to them through posts and videos, and even now Facebook Live has come on in a big way. So even if you want to just give high value information and get people to you, it's great. So Facebook is different from Twitter and Instagram. And Twitter and Instagram, it's all working on the foundation of hashtags. Hashtag is nothing but a trend or a topic around which there's discussions going on. So
is it true on Facebook that they say in case you use hashtag, people click less on your posts if you use hashtag?
Yeah, that's a recent study which I was also looking on Social Media Examiner, which is a very good resource, where they were saying hashtags on Facebook, even the reach that's going to happen through those posts will be down, and the people engaging on those are not as much as Instagram, for example. On Instagram, people can use even up to 20-30 hashtags, and there's huge reach and engagement on those posts. That's
but
right.
on Facebook by itself, do you recommend using hashtag or no?
I won't recommend using multiple hashtags, but let's say you're doing a campaign. Let's say there's a big event coming up and you want to track and see how many people are engaging or talking about that particular topic. Let's say now Robert Kiyosaki is coming to Dubai, and if they have the NAC, Dubai hashtag, then you'll know it's good to use it, but sparingly on Facebook. Don't use too many hashtags. Don't use too generic hashtags. It can be based around a particular campaign so that those who are running the campaign can track and see how many people are engaging on those.
How do you differentiate between the normal Facebook account and the fan page? Because some authors or experts, they still market themselves through their personal accounts, just like people follow them, but they don't have maybe the advantage of the ads. But there are some other differentiators, how do you differentiate?
Sure. No, that's absolutely true because Facebook is giving more prominence to personal profiles. When you change a profile pic, when you have a birthday coming up, when you have an anniversary coming up, those are the kind of posts that Facebook naturally gives more weightage on the newsfeed. And actually think about it. Let's say if you've liked 200 fan pages, and if all those fan pages make a post at the same time, ideally your newsfeed is going to be a huge advertisement. Now Facebook is conscious about that. And that's one of the reasons why Facebook has reduced the organic reach of fan pages to less than 1%, which means if you have 100 fans on the fan page, if you're making a post, only 1 or 2 people are going to see it. So it's a conscious strategy by Facebook where they're giving more weightage to personal profiles to come up on the newsfeed organically, and brands got to spend money to come up on the newsfeed. So it has to be a combination of both. If you're an influencer, an author, speaker, coach, going with the personal profile is a much better way to do it. Like I have my own personal fan page too, but what I do is I post there and I share it on my personal profile, so it gets a much larger reach there. So the advantage of a fan page, on the other hand, is that you can run ads, which you cannot do with a personal profile. So you need to have the right balance of both.
So okay, what do you recommend? Because sometimes when you keep sharing from your fan page to your personal page, it's kind of boring and people don't really like it that much. And
yes.
So what I do for myself, what I do usually, I share only the videos that I share. At the first place, I share it on my fan page, and then the videos I can share it on my personal page. But I don't share all the posts that I share on my fan page, and I try to differentiate between the content, more personal on the personal, and just I try to stick. It took me years until I became more disciplined about the content that I post on my fan page. That's only business or only whatever that I'm marketing for.
True, you're perfectly on the right track, because your personal profile cannot be used as a sales engine or any of the sort, because your personal profile is more about your lifestyle, and it's more about creating a positive perception in your followers, so that they get curious to know what you're doing in your business side. So you don't need to share all the posts from your fan page to your personal profile, and let the fan page be more business centric. I know you're absolutely on the right track.
What other new updates from Facebook you can share with us?
Definitely Facebook Live now. Facebook video is on the rise, because if you've even seen the stats last year, Facebook video views have exceeded YouTube video views, like overall. So Facebook is really pro on videos, and now with Facebook Live coming in a big way, they're giving more weightage to that. And
how do you see the yes, like if you post a video on Facebook, people see it more than on YouTube, definitely, but people still search for content like videos on YouTube more than on Facebook. They don't use Facebook to search for videos. So
Sure.
when you post a video on Facebook, it's about just the instantly the people gonna watch it and then it will go, right? Or you think Facebook gonna make it like a search engine like YouTube?
They may not be able to come to the extent of YouTube for sure. Facebook videos is more for engagement, getting people to engage with your content, and YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. So again, the intent is different over there. So let's say I'm a gamer, I want to know how to crack the next level in say a Halo game. Then I cannot search for that on Facebook. I'll have to go to YouTube and search for that. So Facebook is more on doing live videos. Maybe it's more for engagement of just being natural, being yourself, and maybe pointing them to a YouTube video after that. So you can actually combine both strategies. So YouTube is more search oriented. Facebook is more to get people talking, get more engagement. So these are some of the developments on Facebook. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit of LinkedIn. What's the do's and don'ts on LinkedIn?
Okay, so I would look at LinkedIn as office and Facebook like home. So the whole atmosphere in Facebook is more relaxed. On LinkedIn, people are more tuned to do business, and it's a professional network. So what I would recommend is on LinkedIn, the do's, I would say, let's start with the don'ts. The don'ts is never sell yourself, because if you're really pushing yourself to get business on LinkedIn, people can sense that and they will not respond back to you, especially if you're sending messages directly to companies and so on. And the second thing is, do not just keep promoting your business. Be more of a value giver. That's one of the reasons why LinkedIn Pulse is there, where you can even provide marketplace insights, statistics about what things, where things are going in your industry, so that you can project yourself as a thought leader in your expertise in your domain area. So that's some of the don'ts. The do's, I would say, is what I also consciously do daily is I network daily. I connect with at least 5 or 10 key decision makers, and I send them messages also. And the messages are not a sales type of message. The messages are more on the lines of something like, I went through your profile, it seemed quite interesting. I see that you have great experience in this field. How's the journey been so far? More like open-ended questions which create a conversation. And those conversations can slowly lead to a possible deal, how you can turn your contacts into contracts. So I have a few case studies of how I've been able to first build good relationships, and those relationships have turned into an offline coffee shop meeting or even a Skype meeting, and that has converted into a deal. So it's a little bit more longer term approach. I know that you recently interviewed Dr. Ivan Meissner from BNI. I would look at LinkedIn as BNI online. He talks about the VCP process, visibility, credibility, and profitability. The same thing with LinkedIn. You first got to be visible, get more credible in terms of more recommendations, people talking about you, and then build relationships and not sell yourself. That's my tip on LinkedIn.
So how the people who, let's say, register for the selling, because they have 3 paid services. One of them is like if you're selling something.
Sales Navigator. Yes.
One of them is to find a job, and another one to find employees. So if you are registered for that service, how to use it properly?
So as you know, the difference is between the free and the paid is that in the paid version, you get more number of search results. You can send direct messages to people who you've not yet been connected with. These are like the 2 big highlights. besides shortlisting the top companies and so on. So when it comes to the recruiter, it really works well for companies that have a large requirement of profiles to scan and shortlist top candidates. So it works really well for for recruitment agencies. If you're looking at the sales navigator, where you can shortlist the top companies, have your list of leads, and also start messaging. Again, the same approach has to be used where you don't come across in a salesy way, but it has to come across in a way by which there's going to be a win-win and a value exchange, and where relationship building should be right on the top, not just pushing an offer saying, "Hey, come check me out, buy from me." That'll completely put the key decision makers. It'll put them off. So relationship building is key, and sales navigator is fantastic. Really, if you go with a proper strategy, you can really make some good connections there.
Do you recommend posting blog posts that you already posted on your blog on LinkedIn, and how to do that?
Yeah, so what I would do is if I've written a 1,000-word blog post on my personal blog, I would give an excerpt of that on LinkedIn and say, click here to read more. And that's one way to get people interested in the blog post, just enough to the point that you can drive them back to your website, back to your main blog for the, as a traffic generator tool. So that's what I do. That's a good thing.
But they post also like kind of all the article or the blog post on LinkedIn.
Yes. Yeah, you could also use LinkedIn Pulse to write your own articles. But again, it need not be like a 1,000-worded article like how you would have on your regular blog. It can even be shorter, 300, 400-word posts. Mostly checklists. 5 ways to do this, 5 ways to do that, how to do, it should be more value given, and the headline should be catchy as well.
I ask you about also the articles on Facebook. Some of them opens very fast, and you can scan the content very fast, like the entrepreneur.com articles magazine.
Yeah.
How do they do that?
Yeah, you're talking about the page load time is very quick, you're saying?
There is a way on Facebook that certain shared blog posts will open and it will be searchable in a way faster way than the rest of the. It's like kind of you're opening it. It's like a preloads, or like you're opening it inside Facebook.
Yes, yeah. So Facebook want to keep you inside Facebook. They don't want to send you out of Facebook. So they have that feature where it just loads a preview. It's an internal browser within Facebook, and we've used that feature. So there's two things to it. One is definitely the platform on which your blog is hosted. So if you're looking at sites like Entrepreneur and many of these like Mashable, TechCrunch, some of these big Huffington Post, they are sitting on super servers. So they load really fast. Whereas if you're looking at your own personal blog, most of us, we have shared hosting. So there will be a time lag, at least 2-3 seconds delay, again depending on the design of your blog as well. It matters a lot. So yeah, so to answer your question, Facebook want to keep you inside Facebook. That's the reason they don't open, links don't open into a Safari or into a Chrome browser. Yeah.
How to use Snapchat for business?
Okay, Snapchat is like the raw and real marketing platform. It's really completely changed the face of how businesses project themselves also. And many of the bigger businesses who have been listed right now in Snapchat, they are using it as a platform on showing things like behind the scenes, creating contests for their audiences to go and do weird and funny stuff, keeping it raw, So that's how Snapchat is evolving right now. It's still in the nascent stage right now. So a lot of businesses still don't get how they can use Snapchat, but just so that I think the recent stat I was looking at is over 5 billion video views are being served on Snapchat on a day-to-day basis. This is like worldwide. And more than 77% of Snapchat active users are the younger age group. We're talking about teenagers up to the age of 23. So the kind of content that has to be there also has to be really fun, interesting, entertaining for it to work. So every business needs to think about an alternative strategy, which is raw and behind the scenes. So those kind of things work.
So if you posted a video on Facebook, you cannot use the same video on Snapchat. You don't recommend that. You recommend doing something different.
So let's say we are recording this right now. An ideal Snapchat content would be me taking a selfie and saying, "Hey, I'm just recording this podcast with Ahmed." That's the kind of raw footage that need to be there on Snapchat. Okay, so that's how it's different. So it's more like behind the scenes, behind the curtains, what's going on. So many of the celebrities are doing that. Before they're getting on a shoot for a movie, they just put things on Snapchat and they get huge engagement on those.
It's mainly video, but now they launched pictures, I think, recently.
Yeah, they do have pictures as well, and they have like different filters. You can animate your face and all kinds of stuff. So that's always been
there. Do you think they are the competition mainly between Snapchat and Instagram as similar?
It's actually Instagram have actually, as we are speaking right now, 3 days ago Instagram have started the daily feed where you can just record short videos, even put up images which will last only for 24 hours, just like Snapchat. So Instagram is starting
copying
to compete,
the features.
Starting to compete with Snapchat. But I would still say I'm following guys like Gary Vaynerchuk who's really active on Snapchat and Instagram. And his recent show, he was mentioning that Instagram is different. Snapchat is different. Even though Instagram has launched that, Snapchat has a different audience altogether.
Why people go to Instagram? Like Facebook bought it. One of the reasons some people say that the young generations and teens, they don't like to be in the same platforms as their parents, or so they go to this and it's more fun, more positive.
Yes.
But again, Facebook, after they purchased, they bought them out. They started channeling all the content to go back from to channel the content from Instagram to Facebook. So even on Buffer and other posting softwares, they don't allow you to post to Insta. They want to post directly through Insta, and it will be published directly to Facebook. But you cannot do the opposite from Facebook to Insta.
Sure. Yeah, because Instagram is more a smartphone-based approach. It's you cannot post from a desktop or any of that stuff. So they want to keep things more hands-on from your smart devices. So so Instagram is very different from Facebook. Again, it's more about lifestyle. It's more about hashtags. It's more about even the short 10-second video clips which can create that engagement. That's how it's different.
You are also an SEO expert. Let's talk about SEO. Like, is SEO still working? What's working in terms of on page and off page? How do you approach like a new blog if you have in terms of SEO? Is it just optimizing on page? Many of the old tricks are not working. Many people says that just focus on the content and don't do anything. So what's your 2 cents in that subject?
Definitely. Yeah, in one sense that's true. The Google algorithms are getting smarter by the day. Back in the day, 3-4 years back, people could rank any website just by, doing a couple of things. You stuff a web page with those keywords, and then you build backlinks from what you call as link farms. You can actually go and get links from any random website, any random, other links, and you can come up on the first page of Google. So Google have been changing the algorithms, and now there's a lot of emphasis on quality of content, and there's a lot more emphasis on quantity of content. Just to give you an example, previously, if you write a blog post which is 500 or 600 words, you could rank on the first page of Google. Now, if you have to really rank on the first page of Google, your blogs need to be a minimum of 2,000 words. Wow. Okay, we're talking about long form content. And if you're following people like Neil Patel, he's like an authority in this domain. So he's been writing blogs which are over 3,000, 4,000 words. Like it's like as good as an encyclopedia. It's like
Tim Ferriss do that. Yeah. This also.
Yeah. So this is what's coming up when it comes to search engine and ranking, because Google wants high quality content. They don't mind long form content, which is where the entire subject matter can be covered. And the other thing Google is monitoring is the way that the content is written. So if you're writing it in a way which is more readable, your content is going to get ranked. So there's another aspect to it, which is something called as LSI keywords. It's called latent semantic indexing. So if you just look up on Google for lsigraph.com, there's a website. So if you just feed in your main keyword, let's say dog training is a keyword, what this tool will do is actually bring out all the other permutations and combinations of other related keywords, which may not pop up on a keyword planner or any other keyword tool that you may find out there. So what's really working in the SEO game right now is high quality content, high quantity content, as well as using LSI keywords, which are actually related terms. You don't have to use the same keyword multiple times, but you use other related keywords so that it makes the whole content rich. Okay, so that's pretty much where things are moving in the SEO world.
How about the transcription? What do you think about transcribing, like let's say this interview? Does that add value or no need to do that?
No, it does add value because you're going to be using many of the words that we're using in this interview. So it's a combination of both video search and textual search. So you got to have a combination of both. So if you're having transcription, you have to just make sure that you also add the right the right keywords in the right way, and also write it in a way not just verbatim, but more like and the essence of that particular whatever recording that you're doing, like a podcast like this.
What are the strategies that you're using in terms of landing pages and the funnels to convert customers?
Okay, so that's another deep topic on its own. So when it comes to landing pages, there are many tools out there. You have Instapage, you've got Lead Pages, you've got Optimize Press, which is a WordPress page. There's ClickFunnels by Russell Brunson, which is also doing well. So what I've seen right now, the way things are evolving in landing pages is you have two types of basically, I would say three types of landing pages. You've got something known as a squeeze page where you have very minimal content on it. The whole purpose is just to capture the lead. So you don't have many distractions, just a attention-grabbing headline, a sub-headline, and an opt-in box. And what I've seen converting well right now is a two-step opt-in box, where it's not just a form on the page, but they click on a button and there's a pop-up, and then people fill the form. So those convert much better according to the recent
So you
tests.
don't recommend the one that pop up automatically, or
the pop-up automatically can be there on your blogs. But if you're driving traffic to a landing page, in fact, you can just test out the Robert Kiyosaki landing page, which we actually built out. We were actually promoting the pre-book campaign. So we don't have a form which can be seen right on the home page, but when they click on the button, the form comes out. So this is called a two-step opt-in. I mean, it's not a let's not confuse this with a double opt-in list on an email. But this is a two-step opt-in where they click on a button, it pops up, and then they fill their details, and then they move to the third step. They go to a thank you page. So you have something known as squeeze pages, which are more minimal. Then you have your actual sales pages where you can give more information. So once they fill their details on a squeeze page, then you can drive them to a sales page where you can give them more information to actually buy your product or buy your tickets or buy whatever services that you may have. And of course, the third one is a thank you page, or what I normally keep like a bridge page for me to track my conversions. So the strategy what we use is once somebody fills up a form on a squeeze page, we send them to a thank you page saying, check out your email, we have sent you a link, and you have more information about that. So once they click on that link, then we send them to a sales page where they get more information about the product or the event, which they can go and purchase.
Do you recommend in a squeeze page the name and email, or only email? And the other question, do you recommend the double opt-in of the email or no? Just
yes. So it again depends on the type of a campaign. I would definitely recommend double opt-in because definitely your cost per lead will be higher, but you can be sure that this person wants that information. So your conversions will also be better. So the thumb rule is that the more number of fields that you have, your conversion percentage on the page is going to drop. So if you have just email, you can even convert a page at say 30, 40, even up to 50%, depending on the campaign that you're running. But there are a lot of people who may also put in just as a dummy email. It may not be their real email ID, so you're going to lose them out there. So there are pros and cons of both. But what I would recommend is capturing a name, an email, a phone number, and a city if required. Maximum of 4 fields, which is good enough data for us to work with, and people are willing to submit that information if the headline is resonating with what they are looking for. Yeah.
Do you recommend giving something for free in exchange for the email, or what's the latest strategy that works?
Yeah, so definitely the offer has to resonate with the target market. So giving away stuff for free always works, whether it be a free ebook or a free newsletter is not compelling enough. Need to look at something beyond that. Maybe a free report on or a white paper or detailed report, or sending them to a webinar. That's also great because you can send them to a free webinar. So giving away high quality content before you make them buy anything is the best way to go about it. Yeah. So this is what we call as lead magnets. You have to actually have a strategy on what is your ideal prospect looking for, and then you create an offer which matches to their requirement.
In terms of your business as social media strategies, why you decided to get into events, and which one you like more, to teach in the events or to have clients online that you do for them their websites or their marketing for social media?
See, we've been in the event marketing game for quite some time, and we've been working with large event organizers like Success Resources, and we've been promoting events like Robert Kiyosaki, for example, Tony Robbins, and many others. So why we liked events? We got into events right from day one. We promoted Jack Canfield's first event in Bangalore. We filled an auditorium of maybe 750 people. I think more than 50-60% came through social media awareness. So with an event, it's a short-term thing. If an event is coming 3 months from now, we can start the promotion and we can measure the whole, sequence very well. So it happened to be a natural liking for us, and even the partners that we've been working with has been, great in the event space. We've got the right opportunities that came our way. So to answer your first part of the question, event marketing is something we got into, and we've kind of gained the expertise over the last few years. But besides that, we also do work for other kind of projects like real estate, individual coaches, speakers, and authors, structuring their funnels and so on, and other industries like in the parenting space, in the of course trainer space I already mentioned. So,
no, but what I mean is your personal events to speak about social media in comparison with your business as a, let's say, web developer or app developer, or which one you like more?
Hand in hand. Yeah. Good. Now I've understood your question. So, for us, for me, doing workshops is it's a passion. I love teaching, and I love simplifying knowledge for people. So that's why I started workshops, social media workshops. I've done more than 50 workshops at this point. Trained over 2,000 businesses. So it's a part of our business development strategy. So when we get people into workshops, we gain trust, authority, we give them a lot of knowledge. Some of them want to implement it on their own, that's fine, but we do get a lot of clients who come through the workshops, and they're educated clients. So
as a social media expert, let's start from the beginning. How you are getting the clients into let's say an event, like after a month you have an event, what's your strategy, the most strategy that you're using that's really working for you? Is it LinkedIn? Is it Facebook?
It's definitely Facebook. Let me give you an idea. So first things, I conceptualized my training program. So I have a 1-day workshop, I have a 2-day workshop. And I'm actually now working on webinars and a few more online courses, and all of that is work in progress. But if I have to do a workshop, say 30 days from now, I start a marketing at least 25 days before the workshop. And again, the price points differ from location to location. So the goal is to get at least 25 to 30 people in the room. So I run Facebook ads into a landing page where they register for the workshop, and then I have a phone process where the person...
One second. The landing page, is it on your site or is it by itself just for the event? For each event you will do just a new...
It is for each event. It's for each event. Okay, so I have a program called Social Media Launchpad. So we have a specific page for the Launchpad for a specific city. So I go to different cities. So if I have to come to Dubai, I have a separate page for Dubai. If I have to go to Pune or Delhi, a different city in India, I'll have a different page for that. And I have a different list which I'm capturing data on. So the first part of the piece is driving Facebook ads, targeting business owners in that city or whichever location I'm going to, driving them into that page.
So business owners means you will customize the ad to target CEOs, business owners, that's it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And there are many other things also. So I may not just target people by designation. I can also target them by their interests. So I may look at things like, what kind of magazines would they read? Forbes magazine, Harvard Business Review, entrepreneur.com. So I would target them based on their interests also. Yeah. So that's the first step of lead generation. So, and once the lead is captured, I have a team that does a phone follow-up, because that's where the actual conversion happens. I have somebody to call them up, give them more information, and tell them that you got to register your ticket before this date to claim your offer. So we have like early bird offer and stuff like that.
Is it your team who makes the calls, or you outsource this process? And if
No,
you
it's
are
my own team.
your
Yeah.
own team, and if
Yes.
you are having an event in Dubai and your team in India, they will still call them. And what they used to call them, just phones from India, like international
No.
calls, or
When it
what's your
comes to
strategy?
when it comes to an event in Dubai, we work with partners in Dubai. So Right Selection have been our partners there for some time. So we've had a person in Right Selection making those calls. Yeah.
Okay. How much do you charge for one-on-one coaching?
So again, it varies from market to market, but typically I charge around $1,000 an hour for me to start with. If I have to do just a mind mapping, brainstorming with businesses, it can even go up to a $5,000 a day. Like for example, we did an exclusive training just with the Sherwood, a Sheraton group of hotels. HR department, they really wanted to spruce up their recruitment drive through social media. So it was like a $5,000 a day engagement that was there, which is very specific to a burning problem, which I actually customize and go and train. So that's pretty much my consultation.
How about the packages? Can you brief us about your social media marketing packages? Let's say I have a business and I want to use your service. Do you charge me a membership fee, or you charge me a one-time fee?
Sure, yeah. It's actually a retainer model. We normally do a 3-month pilot for us to understand their business, for them to understand our mode of working. So our packages vary starting from $1,500 per month, even going up to $3,000, $5,000 per month, depending on the level of activity. So if somebody just wants to do Facebook posts and just Facebook ads, they'll be on the $1,500, that retainer. The advertising budget will be separate, so they would have a separate budget of what we would recommend is, say, they start with another $1,000 for just lead generation, or $1,000, where we would split the budget for lead generation, for promoting posts, as well as building fans on their page. I'm talking about targeted fans. So a benchmark is that they need to have a budget of at least $2,000, $2,500 per month to get started, is what the kind of clients that we take on. Because I have good resources. Initially, we were taking on a lot of startups, but with startups, the issue was, they run out of marketing budget, or they don't have a proper business model or the cash flow to sustain for a long period of time. Which is why right now we work with businesses that are running, they have a good marketing budget, and they're able to see results also.
Do you do app development as well, and web development, and email marketing development, or just focus on social media?
Yeah, we do not do app development. We do have a few partners that we refer business to, because that's not our core strength. But I do have a 6-member web development team. And again, their whole focus is based on what social media activity we are doing. So they create landing pages. They come up with the whole creating of the systems and the tracking and the analytics, setting up all of that. While my social media team works on the content ideation, content creation, content publishing, reporting, that whole cycle. Yeah.
Let's dig a little bit deeper into your personal life. What spirituality means to you?
It's spirituality for me is like the foundational aspect. I've been brought up in a convent school, so I've read the Bible. I was living in Dubai for a few years, so I used to interact a lot with my other friends over there, asking them about the Quran. And I'm basically coming from a Vedic tradition where I've read the Bhagavad Gita. So I always try to look at parallels of the message of how there's actually a synchronicity between all of this. So definitely, I believe that we are not we are not human beings on a spiritual journey, but we are spiritual beings in a human journey, and that's kind of it's my foundational thing. Spirituality is very close to my heart. I know that there's a higher force, there's a higher creator in this whole scheme of things, and I
asked you this question because I saw through your profile and other things that you talk a lot about spirituality. Yes. What's your daily life and work routine since the time you wake up until you sleep?
Yes, so I actually wake up at between 4 and 5 a.m. I'm an early riser. I meditate for a good couple of hours in the morning. That's what keeps me charged up for the rest of the day.
Couple of hours?
Yeah, couple of hours. Yes,
wow.
I meditate for between 1.5 to 2 hours. So I do a form of meditation where like how Christians have the rosary. I think even in Islam you chant the names of the Lord. So I do the similar form of mantra meditation for a couple of hours. I have a 4-year-old son, so
what time you wake up?
I wake up at 4 a.m. between 4 and 5. So that
What time
goes
you
on
sleep?
around 12 a.m. Okay, so
4 hours.
12, 11, between 11 and 12. So just 4 hours.
Okay.
I try to grab a recharge sometime midday because I work completely virtually. I completely work from home. I don't go to office. I've built my team virtually. I was in Bangalore working, going to office, coming back. I was driving in traffic for 2 hours, 3 hours a day. So now I've shifted to Chennai, and I've consciously made my life simpler in terms of, the way I'm able to spend more time with my family, more time for my son. My son is 4 years old. So I drop him to school, I pick him up from school, and in between that time, I finish up all my calls and have all my meetings with my team members. And if there's any interviews like this and my blogging and my other affiliate marketing stuff, I do it once he goes to sleep. Yeah. So that's kind of my routine.
So you work 100% from home. You don't have a problem. You didn't see that when you have a virtual team, you have issues with them. They are not like as efficient when you have an office and you're sitting with them. Or what's your
Yeah. So I used initially it seemed like a barrier, but then once I set the tone with each team member on what I'm expecting from them, then it started to get better. So I really have good, efficient team members. And sometimes, I've also noticed people who are in office, they look busy, but they're really not getting stuff done. We have a 30-member team, and we have slowly transitioned all physical employees into virtual employees over the last 6 months, and we've seen better productivity because we're not looking at their check-in and check-out time. We're looking at the results. If their client is happy, if they're able to execute at the top level. And of course, I have all the metrics to measure, and we have weekly meetings. Like every day I have a meeting with one department, and we have a pulse on where things are going.
Well, how do you measure results? Do you use Asana tasks or use other programs to communicate with them and measure results?
So I've actually built my own models for this. So I have a measurement from the client side. So I have a client satisfaction index, which I'll know at the end of the month. On where it stands. So if I know, okay, my client satisfaction index is 74% this month, I know exactly which clients are not happy with our services, and then I go and catch the person who's working on those clients and ask him what's going on. So I have a measurement like this where I have an independent, my client services specialist actually gets all this data from the clients just over a call, but everything is put into metrics. So that's one aspect. And I also have an internal happiness quotient index that I measure how happy are people working in my company. Okay, so this is also a monthly process that I personally work on to ensure that there's a good match between the team members and the client. So all these are there's no specific tool I use. Everything is on Google Drive, on Excel sheets, but it's models that I've developed, and I just look at a single dashboard at the end of every month to see where I need to push the buttons. Yeah.
What are your other hobbies?
So my other hobbies are definitely making music. I produce music on the weekends. My wife is a singer. She's actually studying advanced Carnatic classical music here in Chennai. So we both come together and we produce music at home. That really relaxes us. We like to visit a lot of places of heritage. In India, there are a lot of places to visit, and of course, I'm a gamer too. I love gaming on iPad, on iPhone. I like to keep testing different things. It's more like a stress buster between my work.
Do you charge your wife for your audio, engineering services?
Not yet. Once she gets famous, maybe I'll do that. Yeah.
You lived in Dubai. Why you went back to India? Is it because closer to your team there? Which one you prefer? You come sometimes for events to Dubai, but if you have the choice now, you are virtually working. Why you're not living in Dubai?
Dubai it's a great place to be, and one of the reasons I came back to Dubai was my parents were in Bangalore, and I was still working. I was not an entrepreneur then. I was still working in a job, and I was actually posted back to India because there was a lot of work going on in India. So, and that just continued. But Dubai is like second home. I keep coming there every 3 to 4 months and doing workshops over there. So I'm just in love with that place. Yeah.
What's the tools that you use that makes you more efficient? Let's say on your desktop or other devices.
Okay, so when it comes to tools, I just try to keep things as simple as possible. Right now, I'm just looking at my notepad. That's it. That's one of the tools that I use every single day. And as far as efficiency is concerned, I just use my iPhone apps. I've got my checklist, my tasks to do for the day, and I just have my notebook that I just make note of my top 3 things to do for today and accomplish the night before I.
Do you put it as a note or you put it on your calendar?
I put it as a note. On my calendar, I just have all my meetings schedules. That's all on my
So what's your top 5, let's say, or 3 softwares that you use the most, other than Excel and Word and Google Sheets?
Yeah. So definitely WhatsApp, Facebook, my Apple Mail. These are like the apps that I use mostly. I use ScreenFlow a lot for my video recording work. I use Evernote to take notes. So I have different notes that I have. I've allocated, for my blogs. I have notes taking. I have my company. I have different notes. So I've organized all of that well. If I go to a seminar, I want to take my notes over there. So Evernote is something which is good. Then I use another cool tool called Day One. It's my own journaling. I've been journaling since 2005. More on what I've experienced for the day, what have been my learnings for the day. It's more of a journal that I write to God. Okay, so I'm speaking to Him, and I tell Him what I've learned from that day. So I use an app called Day One, DAYONE.
So what's your routine for that? Like before you sleep, you sit like for 5 minutes and you write, or how you do that? Or you do it through the day?
It's not through the day. It's usually at the end of the day. And of course, I used to be very consistent at it initially, but now it's maybe every 3 days, every 4 days, sometimes once in a week, just to catch up on all the lessons. So it just allows me to reflect back, and I go back like 2005, and I know what I've been thinking at that point of time, and I'm actually able to see. It's fun actually over a period of time.
Your top 3 mentors.
My top 3 mentors. Very good question. I've got a lot of mentors. But I would say the people that I really admire the most are Eben Pagan is one of them. Yeah, let me just. So Eben Pagan is one of the people that I got enamored by after going through his altitude program. He's an online marketer who's done over, I think, more than $100 million of information product sales. So Eben Pagan is one person that I follow a lot. Mike Dillard is another one. He has a very good podcast, the Self-Made Man podcast. And who else do I follow? Mentors. These are the top 2 that come to my mind. There's another guy called David Wood, who's really awesome in the blogging space. And I learned a lot about video marketing by watching his content, his videos. And again, the whole affiliate marketing space, I learned a lot from him. Yeah.
Top 3 factors for success for you.
Top 3 factors for success. Okay, so I've actually made note of this because I want to be very specific on answering this particular point, because success is a very relative thing. I would say having a burning desire is very crucial. Knowing where you want to go, burning desire to achieve, perseverance. Going through, because success is really not going to be a straight road. It's going to be a winding road. So perseverance and getting through those challenges is one, because I failed many times at different parts of my life, and I just kept going, and having a passion for having a liking for what you're doing. I would say these are the top 3 things that I would say: burning desire, perseverance, and passion. Yeah.
What do you do to change your mood if you are depressed?
For me, it's listening to music. It's going to the beach, and maybe tuning into a podcast, of somebody inspirational. Yeah.
Do you prefer listening to podcasts or audiobooks?
I would prefer podcasts because it's more conversational, Q&A. Audiobook is good when I'm driving. When it's drive time, just put it up on 2x speed and just keep going. Yeah.
Do you listen to music when you work?
Yes, I do. It depends on the type of work. If I'm crunching numbers, maybe not. But if it's something more repetitive, then I love listening to ambient music, smooth jazz, progressive house, that kind of stuff.
What's the biggest failure moment in your life, and what did you learn from it?
Okay, I actually failed my 12th grade, so I was, everyone in my family were well educated, doing their engineering, going to the US to study. So I was kind of the black sheep of the family.
So you didn't finish your university?
I'm not a graduate.
Okay.
I'm not a graduate. So that was I would say it
But
seemed like
that's
the biggest
part
failure.
of the movement now, that everyone is happy about it, that I'm not graduate and I made it, and you know.
It's a dropout story, yeah. So yeah, it seemed that was a big failure moment. But when I look back, it's the best thing that had ever happened to me, because if I'd gone in the traditional route, I wouldn't be where I am today. The second moment of failure was definitely, you know, taking that break from my work. And I had a really bad financial hit at that point of time, because you know, I started making a little bit of money through my music, and then started a little bit of affiliate marketing, but I didn't have much financial backup. So my wife she had just got pregnant at that point of time, so it was a do or die situation. I was at the rock bottom of life. I had a lot of, you know, debt to clear, and that's when Scion started. You know, it was at that moment of, you know, hitting the bottom of the rock bottom. So really, I mean, when you have no other place to go than below, the only place to go is up, and that's where things started changing. Yeah.
What's the best ever advice that you have received?
It's actually a Jim Rohn quote. I read it many years back, and when I read that quote, it completely changed my way of thinking about life. It is, you know, to have more than you've got to become more than you are. So when I read that line, I realized that if I have to get more in my life, I need to become a different person. I need to change myself. So that's really changed me. Yeah.
If you will go now back in the years and you have the chance to advise your younger self, what would you advise your younger self?
I would say go ahead and take those risks and fail forward. It's okay. Even if you're making those mistakes, that's fine. Just think out of the box and keep going. Yeah.
Top 3 favorite books?
It's an easy one. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And I would say the Bhagavad Gita has given me a lot of you know, insights on a spiritual level. Yeah.
Do you follow any routine to sleep?
Nothing in specific, but you know, just cuddling with my son. You know, if I'm not having this kind of interviews, I read bedtime stories to him. Yeah.
What makes you really happy?
What makes me really happy? Actually, making music makes me happy. Making others happy makes me happy. Getting messages from people that, you know, they've been inspired by my messages or my blogs or my videos, those kind of things that really make me happy. Yeah.
Last question, how people can contact you?
Yeah, people can connect with me on Facebook. Look up for me, or go to my blog, siddharthrajsekar.com. You know, connect with me on Twitter. So I'm more active on Facebook. So if you send me a message, I normally respond back quickly as compared to other platforms.
One last question I forgot to ask you. What's like Super Soul Records versus Sion Masterminds versus Sion Ideas?
Yeah, so Super Soul Records just happened to be the record label that I set up for my independent publishing of music. So, you know, that I've just launched one album till now, working on the next with my wife. Scion Masterminds and Scion Ideas are part of the Scion sister concerns of the Scion brand. So Masterminds is where we run events, where we bring down international speakers into India. And we did this initially, but we're not pushing that. It's not a core business. So we've been partnering with other people to run that show. And Scion Ideas is more like the branding division of Scion, where I have my web team that creates websites, creates those landing pages, and also the design work that happens. So it's just sister concerns. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sid, for the valuable information and this great interview. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. It was great to be here. Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. Be efficient and stay efficient, and see you soon with another leading expert.